There it is, ladies and gentlemen. We're back at Legacy Studios in East Liverpool. Jimmy Joe Savage, Ted Arnaud, moments away on the sports line talking the NFL. But this is what he does at Legacy Studios and on the sideline with the great Pittsburgh Steelers. Could you love one of these in your game room or man cave? Love it. And, of course, over here, James Harrison. And there's more. You've got America's team. What a year they've had. The Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott. Incredible rookie season. All from Jimmy Joe Savage. Did you say Victory Bell? How about Le'Veon Bell right here? Nice. And he's always there when they make the catch. Couple more. Suitable for framing. This is what he does, folks. Legacy Studios. All the time. And yeah, James Harrison making the sack on Eli Manning. All right, now, please, Legacy Studios, check it out. Ted Arnaud and I begin talking the Hall of Fame 2017 finalist class, and this is what we have. Brian Dawkins, Ted, safety, Philadelphia Eagles. Jason Taylor, defensive end, Miami Dolphins. Also, LaDainian Tomlinson, running back, San Diego Chargers. Morton Anderson, kicker, New Orleans Saints. Don Coryell, great coach. Air Coryell, those days with Dan Fouts in San Diego. Kurt Warner, the greatest show on turf, an amazing quarterback. Terrell Davis, career very short, but he could run for the Denver Broncos. Isaac Bruce, also part of the greatest show on turf. St. Louis Rams, began his career when they were in Los Angeles, where they are now. And as I said earlier today, maybe the most natural wide receiver with the most raw ability, Terrell Owens. And also Tony Baselli, the big offensive lineman from Jacksonville. Alan Faneca, the great offensive lineman, the pulling guard out of LSU, who played a number of years for the Pittsburgh Steelers from 1998 to 2007. Joe Jacoby, offensive tackle with the Washington Redskins. Ty Law, cornerback from Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. John Lynch, safety from Tampa Bay to Denver. What an amazing career. Maybe one of the hardest hitting safeties ever in the National Football League. And Kevin Maiwai. He, of course, a center with the Seattle Seahawks and the New York Jets and the Tennessee Titans. You know, Ted, earlier today on the NFL Network, they were saying that defensive players need to wait, but I think the opportunity should come sooner than later because I think it's more offensive-driven, the Hall of Fame and the vote, than it should be because there's some great defensive players out there, including Ty Law, who really was the catalyst to get New England headed in the direction that they have been year after year, and that is simply a dynasty. So your thoughts about the 2017 Hall of Fame finalist class, National Football League?
Well, I think it's good to see some defensive players in there. It's good to see some Coach Coryell in there. I think it would be just amazing for him to get into the Hall of Fame. I think what he did out in San Diego is just unbelievable. Dan Fouts breaking every record that he could under his offense. So I think it's a really diverse class, and I think you're going to see some names that may surprise people. I would love to see Ty Law, who, like you said, really set the standard for his position, and I think that's one of the things that makes a Hall of Fame player is really establishing the standard for your position during your playing days, and I don't think there's anybody on that list that did that more than Ty Law. All
right, let's take a look at the games that are happening Wildcard Weekend. We'll get to the Steelers in Miami in a moment. Now, tomorrow, we're going to be at the Coons Market Cafe telling you about the 600 varieties of beers, including the official beer of your Steelers and your Pratte Pack's favorite, Miller Beer. They have tastings, and every Thursday they'll have one tomorrow, and we'll be there. Greg Diolis and I, live to tape. You'll see it tomorrow night, Facebook and YouTube. And also Charlie Simkovich. He is from the Simkovich Cranial Institute, talking concussions. And he and I were discussing the other day, Tom Savage, Houston Texan, Pitt grad, concussion protocol. A lot of folks were wondering what was going to happen with him. He was actually on the air on a Houston radio station last night discussing it. Ted Arnaud has been in the forefront of this. A lot of his friends, great legal minds, great physicians, and we've been discussing this for a number of years. So tomorrow, we're going to talk about the ever-evolving situation with concussions in the National Football League with Charlie Simkovich. He's a chiropractor, and he's doing amazing hands-on work helping heal people with concussions. That's all tomorrow from the Coons Market Cafe, and we're going to be there every Sunday right through the Super Bowl from 11 until 1. Greg Dallas, Bob Dvorak, and of course, Ted Arnaud. Ted, Oakland, they'll be taking on Houston NRG Energy Stadium, 4:35 Saturday, ESPN. This is the tale of two teams who lost their quarterbacks, and we're still wondering what will happen with Houston. But losing Derek Carr pretty much has sunk the opportunities of the Oakland Raiders that I was hoping would unfold this postseason.
But I think, though, this is an interesting game because it could be the kind of game where the defenses really control the tempo of the game and what the outcome of the game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. You've got Brock Osweiler actually coming back, so while they lost their current starting quarterback, they're going to put back in the quarterback that started the big contract at the beginning of the year coming in from Denver. So you'd have to give a little bit of the edge to Houston there, especially since the Raiders are really going to be looking at their third-string quarterback trying to guide them. But they've got such a great defense, and their running game has really come on strong. So it's going to be a good game, but it's going to be a good game for those who really like defense.
All right, now we move on to CenturyLink Field, 8:15 Saturday night, NBC. It is Matthew Stafford, Detroit, who lost out on an opportunity against Green Bay last week to win their first NFC North Division championship in 23 years. Still a good football team. Russell Wilson and Seattle, of course, just having a great year as always. But remember, they are in the NFC West, which is a very weak division. This is a road game for Detroit. I would love to see it happen, but Ted, do you think Matthew Stafford is enough for Detroit to advance to the next level in the postseason?
I think it's going to be a better game than a lot of people think. Obviously, going into Seattle, it's a tough game, and you've got Seattle has had they've kind of regressed down to mediocrity this year as far as the playoff. Obviously, they're in the playoffs. They're a good team, but they're not the dominant team they were. And Matthew Stafford has had a tough couple of games, the last few games, but he's got it in him, and he's got the offense to do it. So I think you have to favor Seattle, but certainly I would like to see Detroit do it, and I think they have the ability to do it. Tough game, though, playing in Seattle.
All right, let's move on to the afternoon game Sunday. Then we'll come back and wrap up the Steelers in Miami at 1 o'clock at Heinz Field, CBS Television, KDK TV2 locally. This game meaning the Giants, who are going to be at Green Bay's Lambeau Field, will be at 4:40 on Fox. Eli Manning, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has been on fire in the second half of the season. The Giants, of course, have shown that they still have a defense, and we know what Eli Manning can do, just a day removed from being 36 years of age, part of the 04 class of quarterbacks, Phillip Rivers, and yes, Ben Roethlisberger. So who do you like? Giants at Green Bay, 4:40 on Sunday on Fox.
Yeah, they're both northern teams used to playing in bad weather. Eli, you just can't count out on the playoffs. He just has that magic that happens during the playoffs. Green Bay, really on a roll, has really been playing well. Rodgers just seems to be incredible working out of that pocket. You can't bottle him in. When you do, he's going to burn you on the quick pass. I think you have to go with Green Bay. They've been just too on fire and have too much momentum. But it should be a good game. Two great quarterbacks, two good defenses. And I think the quarterback is going to. You got two great quarterbacks, but I'm going to have to do the one with the hot hand right now.
All right, Ted, now here we go, 1 o'clock, Heinz Field. This is what I prepared for you. Miami, back in the postseason for the first time in 8 years. The Fish, as of today, as we go to tape, 10-point underdog. They beat the Steelers by 15 earlier in the season. Ben was banged up at Hard Rock Stadium. Matt Moore has been starting for Ryan Tannehill, but there is talk out of South Beach that Tannehill might go. Moore, however, has thrown 8 touchdown passes. Pittsburgh, well, they've won 7 straight. They've also scored at least 24 points in their last 8 contests. Miami has the 29th ranked defense, too. Ben Brown Bell should have a big day at home. This team averages just over 30 points per game at Heinz Field. There you go, Ted, all on the table. How do you see it unfolding?
Well, it's going to be a good game. You certainly got to go lean the Steelers' way. But what scares me is you look at the running game and what the Ravens were able to do, and the missed tackles, the broken tackles with the running backs from the Ravens. And then last week, the Browns were able to torch them with their running game, and Miami has a great running game. So that's the scary part. I think, though, there's no way that their offense will be able to keep up with Ben and the weapons that he has. And, not playing the stars, we talked about that on our show last Sunday. I thought that was the right move, because if they were to be given a bye week, they would have had that rest anyway. So a lot of people say, well, if they come out and they're cold, that shows you that it wasn't the right decision. I couldn't disagree more. I think it was the right decision. You also got D'Angelo Williams to get some reps. And I think that's important, because that increases the potential of having some relief for Le'Veon Bell, or even creating the ability to have Le'Veon Bell work either out of the slot or even as a wide receiver, and have D'Angelo Williams running back. So I think it adds a lot to what the Steelers can put on the field. I think also just giving these guys the rest. Le'Veon Bell, injury prone, Ben, injury prone. I just think it was the right move. And I think getting D'Angelo the reps, I think, was equally as important. So, I think Miami, you would like to say that it's going to be a good game. With their running game, remember, they put 200 yards up on the boards against the Steelers the first game. The running game scares me, and I think that's going to be something that they're going to have to really stop. But they didn't do that either against the Ravens or the Browns, and at least in the first half, the Ravens were tearing them apart, even right through the third quarter. So that's the one thing you got to watch, but I think you have to give a definite edge to the Steelers.
Okay, tomorrow afternoon, Greg Diolis and I and Dr. Charlie Simkovich, we'll be talking all about the NFL from Coons Market's Cafe on McKnight Road. And then Sunday, we return to the Cafe on McKnight Road at Coons Market. We'll be there every Sunday, 11 to 1. Ted Arnaud, Bob Dvorak, Greg Diolis, and I, right through the Super Bowl 51. You can hear us every week on News Radio 1020 KDKA. Good night from East Liverpool, Ohio, and Legacy Studios.